Live Laugh Larceny discusses spooky crimes that may haunt you for life.
Or they may warm your cold hearts like a pumpkin spice latte.
Tales have been written in illegible yet spooky handwriting, so the details may vary.
Turn back now and save your soul! I can't say it in a serious, I just can't.
Live.
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live Laugh Larceny. Crime so electric, they could bring Frankenstein's monster back from the dead. Ooh. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda.
And welcome to our Halloween episode.
Oh my God, my favorite time of year.
Oh, I love it. It is my favorite. We are both dressed up while doing this, so if you don't follow us on social media, you should probably listen.
I know.
Or look.
You should do all the above if you don't. But yes, I was having a really hard time keeping a straight face looking at Trevin when he did the intro because he is dressed as a sheep and I am dressed as a cat.
Yes, I guess we should tell people who don't look on social media, I'm a sheep, you are a cat.
I don't have whiskers or a nose, though. You went the extra mile.
Yeah, I have an eyeliner heart nose drawn
It's
on.
beautiful. It's beautiful and adorable. I just have a spooky Halloween shirt that you actually got me. When did you get this for me? Last Halloween, or was it... You got it for me.
Was it your birthday?
Maybe it was my birthday. It was something, but I'm wearing the spooky Scream shirt that Trevin got me last year when you were still in your old rental house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wearing some kitty ears, but I'm living it up over here.
Yeah, and it works.
I was almost a whoopee cushion. But yes, so it is the best time of year. It is Halloween. We have some fun surprises today. But before we jump into all of that, Trevin, what is your dreadful dilemma?
Well, I have a very Halloween dilemma.
Oh, God. Okay.
There is a creepy cryptid lurking around my neighborhood.
Oh, my God.
And it has been at it for quite a while. I haven't talked about it, but I spotted it months ago. And I think other people have been spotting it too.
Okay. What does it look like?
I call it Beaver Chuck.
Why?
Because it is a very big woodchuck. Or groundhog, depending on what you want to call it.
Oh my God, I have one of those in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So maybe that cryptid is lurking at my household too.
I mean, that's kind of the thing with cryptids. They're everywhere all at the same time.
They're everywhere and nowhere all at once.
Mm-hmm. I looked out my backyard one time and I was just like, oh my God, this thing is huge. Like, this thing is like raccoon size. It's gigantic. Yeah. And it looked like I wouldn't want Mabel to mess with that thing. And Emily came home and I was like, there's a beaver on the loose. Like, look out. And there's just so many different times that I've caught it. And then the other day, we actually saw an exterminator type guy parked out in front of our house. And he just sat out a cage and sat in his truck for like over an hour. And so my dilemma really is, I don't want them to catch old Beaver Chuck.
Oh,
I don't want to see him be taken away.
So did he really think just putting a cage out there was going to do it?
I don't know what this guy was thinking.
Okay.
Emily said that she's seen him. He came out 2 days in a row where he set out the cage and then sat in the truck for a long time. And then he came back the next day, checked the cage, was nothing there, and then just sat in his truck again for a long time.
Wow.
So I don't get it. But
it sounds like a pretty easy job.
It does. But it sounds like he must be bothering somebody.
Yeah. It's probably your crazy neighbor, don't you think?
I wouldn't be surprised.
She's like, down with the beavers.
It's like, that Beaver Chuck, he looks like he's voting blue this year.
He must die.
Yeah, we'll do something about him.
Oh.
But like a good cryptid, I did snap a blurry photo of him.
Nice.
I was coming home from work the other day, and one of my neighbor's houses over on the other side of the street, I just saw him run off their porch, and he kind of stopped and looked at me, and I just stopped my car and took a picture real quick. And I'm glad there was nobody behind me because I didn't even look. I was just like, I got to capture this thing on video. It's blurry, of course.
That'd be horrible if that caused a crash, and you're like, damn it. Worth it.
The beaver saw it all. Well, then the beaver truck would be like the Mothman kind of, because he would be, wherever he goes, tragedy follows.
Ooh, love that. That is like so spooky. I'm going to have to compare my picture because I took a picture of mine too, and we'll have to see if they look the same.
Oh, it might be the same one.
Dude, if it's the same one, he's putting in some mileage.
Yeah, he gets around.
Oh my God. Well, that is very dreadful, Trevin. I hope that they don't catch him for your sake.
As big as he is, I don't see holes in the ground around here, so just let him be.
Let him be.
Unless he's like beating up the neighborhood dogs, I don't have a problem with him.
Yeah, no, he can chill.
Yeah.
Well, I also have a dreadful dilemma. It's going to be pretty short and sweet this time around. So my family, Jordan, myself, and our 2 girls, we are going to be dressing as the Addams Family this year. It was my oldest daughter, Lila's idea. She wanted to be Wednesday. But my dreadful dilemma is that all of our costumes are black. And we have 2 very fluffy white and brown. They have a little bit of black hair, but it's mainly white and brown hair. And I kid you not, I've tried on my Morticia outfit one time, just once, and it's already the whole bottom is just covered in hair. And I'm like, dude, we can't wear black anywhere. I mean, I'm wearing black right now, but you can see the hair. It's just very dreadful. I'm really excited to be the Addams Family, but the hair, we're going to be the Addams Family just like lint rolling all day.
Yeah, you don't wear a lot of black, and I guess that is probably why.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not just typically a person that just wears a lot of black in general, but that is definitely a motivating factor on not wearing black because it's not worth it. I'm just going to look like a hairy fool.
Hairy fool. So did you get a black wig too?
I do have one in my Amazon cart. I'm trying to be thrifty and see if I can find one in person a little cheaper or not, because not only do I need to have a wig, but so does Jordan. As I've talked about before on here a long time ago, he has alopecia, but he's trying to grow his hair out right now. But it's still not very long and it's still kind of patchy. So we both need a wig. But for my daughter's hair, I'm not going to put her through it. I'm just going to get the cheap temporary black hair spray, whatever.
Right, yeah.
But with my hair having pink in it, I don't know how that would look or what it's going to do. So I'm just like, I'll wear a wig.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with that since you'd recently got it done.
Yeah. I'm like, no. Because what if like it just turned this disgusting charcoaly gray or something? I don't know. I was like, it's not worth it. I'll wear a wig.
Is Jordan going to spray paint his mustache black?
You know, he has been debating.
Oh, he should do it.
If he is going to shave and trim his mustache so it's like the tiny little short, creepy lined one that Gomez has. But so many bros out and about keep giving him compliments on his stash that I'm like, I don't know if he's going to do it. Just the other day, he was at the grocery store, just talked to me on the phone, and someone was like, I love your mustache, man. And I was like, stop telling him that.
He's like, my hand hurts from all these high fives I keep getting for this mustache.
I know. So I don't know what he's going to do.
You should just color it black. At least that'll be funny. I
Yeah.
mean, keep it fat, make it black.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't think we can make that our title.
No, absolutely not. That would sound way too wrong.
Yeah.
So I actually have a surprise game for Trevin, everyone, and I can't wait. I know you're just chomping at the bit to know what it is, aren't you?
You know I am.
Whoa, Trevin. We do not have the rights to say that.
Let's have a fun time.
So, Trevin, I designed this game specifically with you and Halloween in mind.
Okay.
I don't really know what to title this game or what to call it. Maybe we could just call it Guess That Horror Movie Quote.
Oh, boy.
And this is going to be a timed game. And how it's going to play out is I'm going to tell you a horror movie quote, and you have to guess what movie it was from.
I hope I don't crash and burn. That'll be embarrassing.
Like I was telling you earlier, I tested the game on my husband, who he doesn't watch horror movies at all. He only got 2 of them right, and there's quite a bit of them.
Okay, we'll see what I can do.
He really failed. But because it's a timed thing, I'm only going to give you a minute. We'll see how many you can get in a minute. I'll try to say the quotes fast, so hopefully we can get them all out. And just to keep it going, When you guess them, I'll just say yes or no, like if you got it right. And then at the end, maybe I can tell you if you got any of them wrong, what it's actually from. Does that sound good?
That works.
Okay. Let me get my timer on the clock here.
I'll try to put some sort of suspenseful music underneath it.
Yeah. Okay, Trevin, are you ready?
I was born ready.
Okay, and the timer starts now. I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them.
Pass.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Jaws.
Yep. Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Hellraiser.
Yep. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Scream?
Yes! To die, to be really dead, that must be glorious.
Pass.
Okay. When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Night of the Living Dead?
It's Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
But
yeah.
I'll give that to you. I see dead people.
Sixth Sense.
Yep. Once upon a time, there was a girl, and the girl had a shadow. The two were connected, tethered together.
Us.
Yes! All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
The Shining.
Yes! Okay. Okay. Time is up.
That was a minute?
That was a minute, which I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left. So I just tried to get a bunch of them prepared. I didn't know how long this would go. So you got 6 of them correct, I believe. I was counting on my fingers and I just put them down. I'm scared to close my eyes. I'm scared to open them. That's the Blair Witch Project. But you got Jaws. You got Hellraiser. You got Scream. Then the quote, to die, to be really dead, that must be glorious, was Dracula.
Old Dracula. I
Yeah,
imagine.
1931 Dracula.
I thought it sounded old, but I didn't know.
You got When There Is No More Room in Hell, The Dead Will Walk the Earth. I'll give you that. That was Dawn of the Dead. You got The Sixth Sense. You got Us. You got The Shining. So yeah, I mean, really, there was only 2 that you didn't know, and that was Dracula and the Blair Witch Project. So I'd say overall, you did a hell of a job.
Yeah, now I want to do my Us impression. Once upon a time.
That is terrifying.
Rabbit cold.
Oh my God.
I can do it better when I've watched it recently, but I haven't. So
No, I remember you doing it right after I watched Us for the first time. I wanted to like punch you in the face out of fear.
yeah, I love that.
I was like, get out of my sight.
Yeah, it's been probably about a year since I watched it. So
Oh, God, that movie's really scary.
I love it.
But what'd you think of my game? Did you like it?
That was nice. That was fun. I
You
liked
did
the
a good
quotes.
job. Great
Thank
job.
you. I have somewhere around here. I had horror movie trivia things. Emily did like a speed round with me, and I did pretty good. I probably got about 80% of them.
Okay. See, if you would have asked me these questions, and I obviously didn't know them, I probably would have been like Jordan and only got 2 right out of all of them.
Yeah, she got me in, and I was like, great. I have nobody I would really play this with. You know?
Yeah,
like, it's good
yeah.
for me, but nobody else would want to play that.
Wah, wah.
So because you had this game and it was a surprise, I didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the Halloween tradition of doing Halloween Mad Libs again.
Yay! If you guys haven't listened to our last year Halloween episode and you just want a little more spooky time, go ahead and check that out. Because didn't we do 2 Mad Libs?
One each.
And I was so immature and was like dying of laughter on both of them, which I probably will this time too.
I imagine you will. So before we do this, should I make you read it or should I read it and you react to it?
I don't know. What do you think would be better?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding on that too. I feel like I'll keep a straight face better, but it might be funnier that you won't be able to. So I don't know.
Let's have me read it. I'll read it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm into that. Besides, I think you're better at coming up with like the words.
Okay. Well, we can do them together and then I'll have you read it.
Okay. Sounds good.
And also, I'm going to fast forward through us getting the words together. And if something funny happens, then I'll throw it in there. But
Okay.
if you're not familiar with how we do the Mad Libs thing, we won't make you sit while we
Yeah,
figure
we're not
all
going to be
this
like
out.
dun, 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 the
Yeah.
whole damn episode for you. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go every other one. You'll do one, I'll do one. So.
Okay, cool.
So a noun.
So a noun is what's a fucking noun? Person, place, or thing.
or idea.
Okay. Godzilla.
Adjective.
Can I do sexually frustrated?
Yes. I got another adjective, and I'm going to say boogery.
Yum.
Adjective again for me, I'm going to say bonerific. Noun for you.
Stripper pole? Wow. Why are all these like so sexual? I can't help it.
It's Friday.
It's Friday?
I don't know.
That's our reasoning.
Noun for me, I'm going to say anus. Adjective for you?
Large?
A liquid.
Oh my God. Please don't say goat semen from the Fear Factor.
I'll say blended rat.
No.
Okay, adjective for me, I'm going to say hairy. And you get to end it on plural noun.
Booties.
Booties. Honestly, don't know why I wrote them, but I think I did okay handwriting wise.
You're just a beautiful writer.
The words I use are, but not the way I write them. So Amanda will be reading this. Give us the title of our story.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Limited.
All right. And
here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. The Scary Godzilla was written over 100 beans ago and made its author very sexually frustrated. The story is about a boogery?
boogery.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. The story is about a boogery doctor in Kansas City who performs bonerific experiments in his science stripper pole. What? Sorry. To see if he can change his personality. He turns himself into a stout monster he calls Mr. Freddy. This monster is very droopy, and popsicles are terrified of him. That's so stupid. The police begin an anus hunt for him.
All right. I'm down with anus hunt.
After a tip from a... I don't know why this one cracks me up so much. Sorry. After a tip from a large neighbor, they find him in Dr. Jekyll's lab, trying to drink a bottle of blended rat so he can change back to his original podcast. Unfortunately, it's too late, and both Dr. Jekyll and Mabel meet an untimely Gatorade. The moral of this hairy story is beware of people with split booties.
Split booties and anus hunt.
Doesn't everyone have a split booty?
I mean, think so.
Oh my God. I'm so glad I chose booties as the last word. Beware of people with split booties, Trevin.
I will.
I will as well. I'm generally afraid of everyone anyway, so it works out.
I mean, if it's somebody who might talk to me, I'm scared of them.
Oh my God. Well, we are officially 7 years old.
Yep.
I tried to say it seriously so that you could, put some music behind it, but I don't know.
Put the dramatic music.
I'm so dumb. I just laugh at everything. I can't help it.
No, it's totally fine.
Oh my God, Trevin. Well, because it is Halloween. Do you have a spooky petty crime story to share with us today?
I totes do.
Yes.
So this year, if anybody hasn't listened to last year's, definitely go back to it.
Oh my God, yes.
I was just looking at it earlier today and I already forgot what it was called. Oh, it was episode 33, Straight Up Ghosted.
Oh, yes.
That one I told a very scary ghost story.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I'm going to be a little less scary and be more about just telling a story that is, in fact, Halloween related.
Oh, okay.
Get everybody in the Halloween mood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make it any less dreadful, but I think this will be something that we all need to hear before going out and trying to get candy. So, here we go. The Goonies, Stand By Me, Stranger Things. These are just a few coming-of-age movies and shows that feature a group of children at the center. These pieces of media have a lot of the same tropes. Between their excessive use of bikes as the sole form of transportation, drama amongst the group, and of course, evil adults. It's not always a guarantee, but the conflict that our main characters face is usually that of a supernatural or sci-fi origin. Even if this isn't caused by the adults in the story, they are usually being less helpful by not believing or supporting what the kids have seen.
Mutant seals in the water tower? I believe you.
We love this. There is something so comforting about a good coming-of-age story that hits us right in the 80s loving heart. The children often have real-life drama that is very adult for their age, and we can really relate.
I also hate paying taxes.
But with that very adult drama comes the fact that they have the limitations of a child. Either a lack of belief from the grown-ups in their lives, a lack of money, or lack of motorized transportation can make the world around them feel so much bigger. The stakes are simply higher. Think about this. If you discovered an extraterrestrial in your corn stalks, you wouldn't lure it with a trail of candy just to hide it in your stuffed animals. You'd try to teach it popular dances so you could finally achieve your dream of going TikTok viral.
1 and 2, 3 and 4.
There would be no phoning home. It would be you recording it with your phone in hopes to afford a summer home.
That is the worst stanky leg I have ever seen.
Actually, now that I dissect this a bit more, I'm realizing that maybe our adult problems have skewed our priorities. The situation would be less dire for us, as we would probably just be looking for ways to exploit it in order to jump up a class in capitalism.
I got that ET money.
So maybe it's best that we trust children with big celestial conundrums. Today's coming-of-age story is so 80s at heart that it would make Steven Spielberg shit his massive bed. And what makes it even more frightening? It all takes place on the eve of Halloween. Our story opens up at St. Maria Goretti's Catholic High School in South Philadelphia. Since its opening in 1955, St. Maria's has become one of the most prestigious all-female Catholic schools in all of Pennsylvania. With most coming-of-age tales having the setting be a character of its own, St. Maria's is no exception. With its long halls and quiet rooms of prayer, St. Maria's prided itself in releasing virtuous and respectable young ladies into the world. However, such a heavenly and pure place can't exist without opposition. Though St. Maria's had succeeded in birthing obedient disciples for the Lord, there was an evil that surrounded its four walls. Since the start of the 2003 school year, the students of St. Maria's had been plagued with the sight of an unholy abomination. One by one, on their way to the sacred school, students would endure the sight of a demonic serpent. It was obscene. Before the girls could gather in class for their morning prayer, they were already struck with the sin of the outside world. No amount of Hail Marys from the sisters could protect the girls from the flasher of 10th Street. Without warning or clear pattern, a man would pop out from behind a van or large structure, get a girl's attention,
OMG, it's Harry Styles.
and then expose himself
Nah, it's just my penis.
before running out of sight. At first, the dong sightings were believed to be that of fictional origin. Sister Maureen didn't accept the first couple of complaints, stating that this seemed like an elaborate hoax cooked up by a couple of young ladies looking for attention. But as more concerns made their way to her office, she started to take them more seriously. Even with multiple reports, Sister Maureen had to see it with her own eyes. She went undercover, putting a Philadelphia Eagles hoodie on over her habit, and performed a Willie watching stakeout. As it had been decades since she had seen a male member, she watched an episode of Game of Thrones just so she would be familiar with what she was looking for.
Pardon my sword, my queen.
By the end of the night, she had ended her watch with a new addiction to Game of Thrones and no signs of the Flasher. This caused the complaints of the Flasher to be kept under lock and key so that no new students would hear about it. Dorothy and Caitlin knew the truth, however. As the leaders of a small group of girlfriends, they had their fair share of encounters with the wang-waving bandit. In fact, this wasn't even a scary experience anymore. They just found the guy to be annoying. To the teachers and leaders of St. Maria's, this was a very disturbing and adult matter. Any talk of it would quickly get rejected and treated as a one-off occurrence. But to the students, it was common knowledge. Week after week, Dorothy would sit outside of Sister Maureen's office to bring forth another sighting shared between the collective group of girls.
And then he pulled out his dinghy.
Each time, she would be shut down and shooed away.
Yeah, just go.
It seemed like Sister Maureen was too distracted by whatever was on her phone to worry about the Flasher.
Coming up next on Game of Thrones.
It was time for the girls to take matters into their own hands. Dorothy and Caitlin formed their own club of young ladies who vowed to go above the law of the Catholic school and stop this Flasher once and for all. Each night, the club would ride their bikes to the meeting place, swap stories of encounters, mark sightings on a map of the neighborhood, and share lists of possible suspects. If the adults wouldn't take them seriously, they would handle it themselves. Dorothy took all of the girls with the most vivid memories of the man and had them write down their experiences. Together, they went to the police and shared their descriptions of the man until a composite sketch was created.
This isn't my first time drawing a wiener, you know.
The club printed multiple copies of the poster and moved it around the school to help warn others and help find him. As time went on, sightings still piled up. The Flasher was too sneaky and always had the element of surprise on his side. What did he even get out of this? The girls didn't scream or even react to him anymore.
Hey, look over here.
At this point, seeing the man's penis had become as common for the girls as seeing a cloud in the sky.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
On the eve of Halloween, Dorothy devised a plan for the club. Each small group was given a location to post up in, with a group text chain created. Halloween was set to be a big night, with children out everywhere. If the Flasher wanted to pull tricks with his little treat, then this would be the night. As the meeting adjourned and the girls walked out of the school and down the steps, they heard Meredith, one of the local shop managers, scream, "You put your dick back in your pants!" Immediately, the group of girls looked in Meredith's shop's direction to see the notorious Flasher standing near a van.
Uh-oh.
"Get him!" shouted Dorothy. As Dorothy ran off the steps, more girls began to file out of the school's front door. The man quickly pulled his loose track pants up and made a break for it. Looking back, the pervert noticed the army of about 20 Catholic schoolgirls gaining on him.
You're dead, pervert!
He made it about 3 blocks before his predatory legs could make it no further.
Oh, God.
As the man began to lose speed, the fastest of the girls jumped on his back and tackled him. Once his body fell to the ground, he completely disappeared amongst the swarm of plaid-skirted children. "Let's teach him a lesson!" Caitlin screamed, as the girls each took turns kicking the man while he was down. At one point, the man pulled out a Swiss Army knife to protect himself,
Get back, you beasts!
but Dorothy kicked it out of his hand, sending it sailing down the sidewalk. "Do you remember me?" Dorothy said to the now unarmed man. "I'm your worst nightmare." As she said this great finishing line to the man, another girl hauled off and kicked him in the mouth. A nearby man came to stop the beating and hold the man until the police arrived. On October 30th of 2003, about 20 ninth grade Catholic schoolgirls of St. Maria Goretti's High School chased down a serial Flasher, beat him up, and held him for arrest. The man was later identified as 25-year-old Rudy Sasanto. Upon his release from the hospital for minor injuries, Rudy was later charged with 13 counts each of indecent exposure, open lewdness, corrupting minors, and stalking, sentencing him to prison for a span of 10 months to 2 years, along with 5 years of probation after his release. He also faces the possibility of being deported back to his native country of Indonesia. High school student Dorothy Capicco told ABC News that the incidents had started out shocking and quickly turned annoying. "The first time he exposed himself to me, I was scared," Capicco said on Good Morning America. "The second time, I wasn't scared. The third time, I was really mad." The president of St. Maria's said that she doesn't support the girls' actions because they could have been hurt, but she does feel better knowing that the man is no longer on the streets. So we've reached the end of another coming-of-age story. And look at that. It's a happy ending. Yes, that also seems to be the case in most of these. The kids find a way to work around the confines of the parents that don't believe them, while saving the day and helping the adults see how wrong they were for doubting them. I know this isn't a spooky Halloween story this year, but this did happen right around Halloween, so it felt necessary. I'm sure a lot of other shows are telling spooky stories around this time, so for just this once, let me give you all something to feel good about. It's great to see justice being served by the hands of the victims. And although I don't love that children were the victims here, I had to tell this one solely to shine a light on this young group of heroes. So this Halloween season, don't be a pervert, because God is watching, and you never know who He may send to teach you a lesson.
Holy crap. So did the school really not believe the girls or just not care enough to look into this?
No, they didn't really care that much. I mean, I think they looked into it a little bit. From what I understand, the composite sketch, they did actually let them put it on like the hallway.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't really do much about it.
I don't know. Prop to those girls, though.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Okay, you're this creepy ass flasher. Okay. And you get some weird thrill out of doing this. Okay. And then one day you're out and about, it's close to Halloween, and all of a sudden you see all these girls that you have flashed and all their friends, and they are just charging at you.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things where when your victims are all in a group,
Yeah.
it's the numbers, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're not my victims anymore.
Exactly. That is the sweetest justice I could ever picture, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when a guy is dating a bunch of girls and then they're all standing together like, oh, hey. And it's like, shit. I'm sure they just want to crawl out of their skin.
Yeah, they all knew.
Yep. But what a freaking creep.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that people don't take flashing seriously. And it's like, that is a big deal, especially when they're young kids like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone ought to have listened to them. Like, what?
I mean, why didn't they just have a security officer posted up or just something?
So anything at all. Oh my God. I love that the girls, I'm sure that your character Meredith, I'm sure her quote was made up.
Oh, the shopkeeper. Yeah, in the news, it was basically that a woman had yelled and caught the man as he was getting ready to flash the girls again.
Okay.
And it drew attention to him where they're like, oh, we're ready. And they ran all after him.
Nice. But I loved when the girl was like, I'm your worst nightmare. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it seemed like it really was those two girls. They listed like 4 or 5 girls that were kind of the leaders of it, but
Yeah.
those two were the ones that spoke the most in interviews. And yeah, it seemed like they really just took it in their own hands and said, this is my job.
I mean, if no one's going to listen to them, I guess that's all they felt like even at the end when you're like, oh, the school was like, oh, they could have gotten hurt. I wish they wouldn't have done that. It's like, what else were they going to do if you guys weren't going to do anything?
Yeah, just keep getting flashed, I guess.
Yes, they felt like they needed to do something, and good for them for gathering together and doing it.
Yeah, I also like that we finally got to do a flasher story because
Right.
if anybody's been following us since the beginning,
Yeah.
back when we were called Seriously Sinister, our main art was us being flashed by a man.
Yes.
And because flashing is such a, it's a silly crime.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a petty crime.
Yeah.
And we kind of built our original image around that. And we never had a
I was
flasher
going to
story.
say, I've been mooned in a story, but never flashed.
Yeah, so I thought, wow, it's taken us this long, but we actually finally did get.
That's so
a flasher
true.
story.
Wow. I can't believe it took us this long.
Yeah, at one point when we did the pictures, I wanted to like shoehorn one in and find one, but I just kept getting distracted by ones I liked better.
By other ones. Wow. Well done. I mean, the ending just like warmed my heart, like all the girls gathering.
It really reminded me of Tarantino did this movie called Death Proof that
I don't
he
think
did.
I've heard of that.
Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez did a little movie thing called Grindhouse, where it was a double feature where he did Planet Terror and Quentin Tarantino did Death Proof, and they put them in the theaters together with like fake trailers. It was probably my favorite theater experience ever.
Oh, okay.
It was it's such a good fun time. But in Death Proof, which I'm going to spoil the ending of it because this movie's been out for over 10 years, so if you haven't seen it.
Right.
But it's about this guy who's a serial killer, basically. He's an ex-stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has this muscle car. I think it's like a Dodge Charger or something. And he calls his car Death Proof because he's a stuntman, and it's made to where the driver's seat is made very well protected to handle wrecks.
Okay.
So he usually will kind of lure a female in, bring her into his car, and then purposely wreck it while she's in the car and say like, oh, funny thing about this car is it's death proof, but it's only death proof in this seat. And then he just like wrecks it and kills her. Anyway, at the end of the movie, all the females band together, and there's just this really long scene of all these women just killing this guy by beating him up in a street.
Holy crap.
It goes on a little too long, but it just kind of gives you that same kind of justice feeling. Of course, this is like a children version of it, and they didn't murder him. But
Do you watch A Handmaid's Tale?
Emily does, I don't.
Okay. There was a similar situation that happened in one of the recent seasons, and I was just like, damn! Like, yeah, like it was justice, but it was also like, this is terrifying, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it wasn't like, very spooky vibes, I think it's okay because my story kind of is.
Good, yeah.
So I think our stories definitely balance each other out, and I really enjoyed yours.
Thank you.
So my petty crime story is also from the news, and it's not only fairly recent, but it also takes place in a location that you and I both recently visited on vacation.
Oh, like the city of Dallas or something?
Galveston.
Oh.
Yes. So, here we go. Halloween isn't the only time people wear costumes or masks to disguise their true identities. For example, fast food workers wear greasy uniforms and pretend like they care whether or not their customers have a great day.
Have a great day, you piece of shit.
While teachers wear their business casual attire and act like they don't party it up on the weekends.
I flunked a kid for smelling bad.
It can almost be argued that Halloween costumes are less sinister than the false appearances we see everywhere on a daily basis. Because at least we are prepared to be tricked during spooky season. So put on your wigs, cloaks, or face paint as we unmask the truth of this petty tale. The Robertson family had always wanted to go on a beachy family vacation. So in September of 2021, they did just that. Sue and Paul Robertson wrangled up their two young kids, Mike and Molly, and began their road trip to Galveston, Texas. The family played games and sang songs during the long drive.
I like cheese. You like
But nothing could get 7-year-old Mike excited. He kept telling his family that he had a weird feeling about going on this trip and stared ominously out the backseat window. The family was used to Mike's moodiness and tried not to let it kill the vacation vibe. The Robertsons eventually made it to their beachfront rental home in Galveston and settled in for their stay. After they unpacked, the family went to a local store to grab some snacks and beach gear. That is when the store's front door opened, causing an eerie bell to ring. Mike was looking at boogie boards when he heard the slow-moving footsteps heading straight towards him. He turned around cautiously to see who the footsteps belonged to as he peered up at a tall man. He was an old fisherman, wearing rubber boots and sporting a long gray beard. His eyes were like cool gray marbles, and when he spoke, he sounded like a pirate.
Ah, lad, ye must be weary of the sea, for a storm is a-brewin', and ye never know what the tide might bring ashore.
Mike nodded his head at the fisherman and rushed over to the rest of his family as they exited the store. The fisherman was right about the storm. Hurricane Nicholas was approaching Galveston Beach, producing aggressive ocean waves and scaring off all the seagulls. The Robertsons hadn't planned for a hurricane on their family vacation, so they sat disappointed and bored inside of their rental home. Sue tried to cheer up her family by suggesting a game or movie, but all Mike wanted to do was stare out the front window. He was captivated by the gray sky and violent waters on the once bright beach. There was a mystical fog looming in the air, unfazed by the storm winds. Mike thought about what the fisherman at the store had told him and wondered what he meant about the mysteries a storm can bring ashore. That is when the outline of a figure began to emerge from the distant fog. Mike blinked to make sure he wasn't just seeing things, but the figure remained. As it walked, the details started to come into focus. It appeared to be a towering man in a dark, long-sleeved jumpsuit. He had short, dark hair, pale skin, and an expressionless face. The man slowly walked along the stormy shore and was carrying something in his right hand. When Mike realized what that item was, he called for his mom.
Mom? You're not gonna like this. I knew we shouldn't have come here.
Sue walked over to the window Mike was looking through and let out a piercing scream. She grabbed Mike and her cell phone and lowered them both below the window as she dialed 911.
Yes, what's your emergency?
Hello? There's a creepy man walking on the beach, and he's carrying a bloody knife. Please send someone right away.
Sue pleaded with the 911 operator.
Hang tight, ma'am. Help is on the way.
When police arrived on scene, they told the creepy man to drop to his knees in the damp sand.
Get down, creepy bitch!
And handcuffed him directly on the beach. However, officers quickly realized that all wasn't as it seemed. Turning the man around, they immediately recognized his face. Or should I say mask? The man was wearing a full head-to-toe Michael Myers Halloween costume, looking just like the fictional serial killer himself. And his bloody knife in his hand? Yeah, that was also a Halloween prop. The man's true identity was a Texas lawyer named Mark A. Metzger III. Mark was arrested for disorderly conduct, but ultimately was released with a Class C citation. As for why Mark was spotted on the beach dressed as Michael Myers during a hurricane, he was quoted in saying this:
Bringing positive vibes to the doom and gloom out there, generating some laughter, helping people crack a smile, and restoring our faith in humanity through humor is 100% what I'm about. It's all I've been about my entire life. My methods might not work for everyone, but I guarantee I'll please more than I'll piss off. As for his dramatic beach arrest, this is how Mark described it. It felt like a scene out of Scooby-Doo. After they handcuffed me and pulled the mask off. Like, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling Karens. You know?
So whether you are dressing as something adorable, sexy, or scary for Halloween this year, reflect back on this terrifying tale. You should ask yourself, would this costume ride up in the back of a cop car? And would this face paint look good in a mugshot? Because you can never be too prepared to be arrested during spooky season.
Okay, Mark. I gotta say, it's just not funny.
I know. Like, what is with this guy's sense of humor? So, have you heard of this story or seen the pictures of this?
No.
Okay. I didn't realize just how popular of a story this was. I don't know if I heard about it. My dad said he did. He says he remembers it being on the news and everywhere. But looking up the videos and the pictures and knowing the backstory, it's pretty funny looking now because like there's a video that someone took from their porch of him, and there's like clearly a storm on this beach, and the police are making him like in his Michael Myers full head to toe garb get on his knees, and they're handcuffing him. And it's honestly just kind of funny seeing Michael Myers being handcuffed on a beach. But before he got arrested, I don't know if he had someone like with him or maybe he took these photos later. I don't really know. But there's like all these dramatic photos of him walking on the beach as Michael Myers. Okay. And they're ridiculous. I will have to show you all of them once we're done recording. And I will post them on social media too, so everyone can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, not only is this guy a lawyer himself, right?
How old did you say he was again?
I didn't say.
Okay.
He's, maybe I can look it up because I'm honestly curious too. I feel like he was...
I had a feeling he was probably older than I think he is because he just seems younger with how kind of douchey you made him sound. But I guess if you can't find it, if you can just find a picture of him and just kind of spitball what you think he is.
Oh my God, this is him.
Oh God, he looks like a douche for sure.
So yeah, he looks like he's, I don't know, what would you say, like 40? None of the articles I could find said.
Yeah, he might be late 30s, but yeah, probably in his early 40s.
Yeah,
He's younger than I thought he would be.
Yeah, he's like a really buff dude that like clearly cares about his image, and he's a lawyer. And I don't know, I just would think a lawyer would want to be more cautious about having anything that looked like a weapon.
Yeah, it seems like he should understand the risks of what he was doing.
Yeah.
If I want to describe him, I would say, imagine an Adam Sandler movie and Adam Sandler goes back to his hometown and there's like a bully that was his bully in high school, but he's still like kind of king of the town. Like that's exactly what he looks like.
Oh my God. That was a really good description. But his whole thing was like, oh, you know, the hurricane was rolling in and I was just trying to like make the doom and gloom go away. And it's like, you chose one of the creepiest horror serial killers of all time to make the doom and gloom go away.
If I was going to do something to like brighten spirits, I would be walking in the middle of something kind of public and just being like, hey guys, kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
Not just like ominously walking alone, hoping that, oh, somebody will see us and they might crack a smile. Like, what?
It's so random. So obviously for storytelling purposes, I created that whole family. I did a lot of research to try and find out who it was that made the call. And I was wondering, did they interview anyone? Because like I saw a video that someone was taking and it sounded like a man's voice and he's like, what an idiot. And he's like recording this guy getting arrested. But he didn't sound too freaked out or anything. So I was like, surely he wasn't the one that called the cops on this guy. He was probably just someone that saw the arrest happen. I don't know.
Right. Somebody had to have been freaked out.
Yeah, but somebody called. I think one article said there was multiple calls, but I couldn't verify that either. But I'm like, people saw this dude out wandering around in the mist and the aggressive waves and was like, ah! And like from a distance, I mean, I'm sure he just looked like a very creepy ass person, you know?
Yeah, like me, I would have thought it was somebody who murdered somebody and was just in shock and just kind of walking. And I mean, even though they were wearing a Halloween outfit.
Yeah, but I don't know, from a distance with all the other things going on, I don't know. And like, I tried to do a really good description of the expressionless face and the pale skin and everything. That's probably what it looked like. And they probably didn't think immediately Michael Myers, obviously. They were scared.
I mean, it's a cool setting and it's cool for photos, but
But why?
Yeah, I mean, whether there be a hurricane or not, if you're just kind of walking alone where there's not really anybody and you're just can't, it's not that funny. It's not that funny.
I know. It's honestly just really bizarre,
Yeah.
which is what makes it funny to me. But I wouldn't think it was funny if I was there, like
No.
watching it. I'd be like, who is this? What are they doing? I'd probably be that mom that was like, get someone over here pronto.
He's committing really hard to a joke that might make like 3 people laugh.
I know.
I mean, it makes a lot of people laugh now because
I
he got
know.
arrested.
I know.
Now, if he wanted to just brighten somebody's day by getting arrested in public, I'm all for it because that is funny.
I know. The whole thing is really bizarre. And that's why immediately when I found this story, I was like, I have to do this one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know just because you're such a Michael Myers fan if you had heard of it. So I'm glad I told you a new story.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that one. And I'm becoming less of a Michael Myers fan because I don't like the new movies that much.
Really?
Yeah, but the new one just came out on Peacock. I said I'm not going to go to theaters. I'm not going to give my money, but I'll watch it. I was thinking one thing, it's kind of a side tangent, but when you had said this was really viral and your dad had heard of it and everything,
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of funny that most of our crimes all at one point did go viral,
Mm-hmm.
but because of our news cycle so fast and our society has like such a low attention span that it's like, this is funny, this is funny, this is funny, this is funny, and then it's like gone.
Yeah.
But like it really will be viral and get like 1 million views and whatnot, but it's just like, oh, everybody forgot about that yesterday.
Yeah.
I would say top 90% of like our stories all at one point were viral.
Yeah. Like, I think the only one that I ever told that I was like, how did I even find this weird, obscure, pointless crime was the woman who stole the yarn.
Oh yeah, that one is obscure.
But every other news story, I mean, there's got to be multiple articles because it went at least semi-viral in a way. But yeah, this just happened last year and I hadn't even heard of it. So I thought it was really weird that happened.
Yep, just got past me.
I also tried, and I don't know how much I succeeded since I'm not a big horror movie person, but I tried to build it up kind of like writing it like a horror movie. Like it started off as the fun, lighthearted road trip with the family. And then there's like a local that like warns you about the area. And then like the big scary thing happens. I was like, I hope I can do this justice for Trevin.
Yeah, from the perspective of the victim and yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wanted it to have that corny, like stereotypical follow the horror pattern thing. But yeah, so that's my tale for this Halloween.
Well, that was lovely. I think this was a successful Halloween episode.
I think so too.
And for anybody that, if you want another one, we did do a little collaboration. It will already be on our feed if you haven't already listened to it. We teamed up with, oh man.
Is it coming out on Halloween though?
I'm going to get the episode on the 22nd, and I have any time the week from the 22nd to the 28th to put it out.
Okay, so we can choose when to put it out.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be in our feed already yet or not, but if you haven't checked that out, we teamed up with Shane from Foul Play, and it's kind of just an all-star thing of true crime podcasts that do like 10-minute segments. So it's got Foul Play, Generation Y, True Consequences, Cult Crimes, and Cabernet.
The list goes on and
The
on.
list goes on. It's a very long list, and I don't have it in front of me. But for some reason,
I know.
we got asked to do this, so I told a shorter Halloween story that is a little more spooky than the one I told today. So if you want a third hit of creepy spooky from us, you can always check that out.
Yeah, and if you're into more of the darker, like serious true crimes, we're honestly combined with a lot more of those types on this special episode, so you can get a real creepy vibe, and then we're sprinkled in there for a little more lightheartedness.
Yeah, at the time of recording this, I have not received the final one, so I have no idea what everybody else's sounds like.
I know, I'm curious.
I don't know if Generation Y took a step back and tried to be funny. I don't know.
I don't know.
So we'll see.
We're all surprised with you, honestly, and I can't wait to hear it. And I'm just excited that we were included.
Yeah.
So definitely give that a listen and check out some of the other podcasters on there. We're really good pals with a decent chunk of them. So you guys have a lot of content. Like I said, if you haven't heard our last year's Halloween episode, we have this collab episode coming out, and we have this episode. So Halloween.
Yeah, and plenty of other stories. It's kind of funny because background music and everything is always kind of, we're poking fun at the whole spooky thing. So all of our episodes work, but hey, we have special ones.
Yes, we do. And definitely for this episode, you're going to want to check out the clips because you guys, Trevin has been in a sheep costume this whole episode.
I know, I keep looking at myself in my camera and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty.
You're beautiful.
And anytime I get frustrated, I do this thing when I get tongue-tied, I go, blech, and then I restart my sentence. And every time I would shake my head, I can feel my little ears flapping.
It's a sight to be seen. But I hope that everyone has a spooktacular Halloween. Eat lots of candy, watch all the spooky movies, dress up. Just don't get arrested, okay?
Okay.
And just remember that no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to have a Halloween anus hunt.
Oh my God. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for including us in your Halloween plans this year. We appreciate you guys so much.
And don't be a split booty. Follow us on social media. Check out my sheep costume. Share your costumes with us. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Live, Laugh, Larceny.
And if you have ever attacked a flasher, send us your petty crime story to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And 5-star reviews are getting about as hard to spot as the beaver chuck of my neighborhood. Send me some more 5-star reviews. Anywhere you can do it. Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods. Stranger Things. No, now it's my turn.
I know. I was like, that is my job, Trevin.
The Goonies. You gotta be kidding me. Well, I did just drink water.
Oh, you have a permanent gurgle. You're the gurgling gargoyle.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. I'm starting to have some phlegm in the throat, y'all.
Flimmy Jimmy over here.
Ew. I hate it.